Hello, and welcome to episode 005, part 1A of Poor Man's Electronics Bench. In this episode, I'm just going to go over checking some component values in the second ICO 443 transistor curve tracer that I sourced off of our favorite auction site. It ended up, good thing I did, because it ended up having a bunch of resistors out of value as well as found a couple other connections that weren't soldered. As I amended with some text annotations in episode 6, these were available as kits, which explains a lot of things. It explains why there was a spot crimped on the power cord. I'll go over things a little closer later, but there was a spot where the strain relief was crimped on the power cord with not enough slack, so the person had to take it off and re-terminate it and left that visible crimp in the cord. Also, like I said, I found another wire that was disconnected. That wasn't connected to anything. I found a solder joint missed off of one of the TO3 test bases, and found some various components that were out of value. So I was just going to go over things and my method of kind of documenting anything that I find, so I can go back, source it, and catch everything on my way out. One thing I'm doing is kind of thought about this. It's like, how do people go through and remember, do a mass survey of parts, go through and remember which ones were bad? How do they mark them? And my solution to that was grabbing some sort of fluorescent paint marker. And what I did was I ended up going, and any part that I found that was out of tolerance, and there were quite a few. There's these, I'm going to take this off the cradle for a minute, it'll be a little shaky. Bear with me. There was a large amount of Allen Bradley style resistors, and I don't know how well you can see them if I can get close enough. These things, they're kind of like they're bubbling something off the surface, and yeah, they're 50 years old. I didn't find anything that was visibly burnt. I mean, some of them are smooth and they look okay, but some of them have just a bumpy textured appearance to them, which is really, really odd. So, and then going through things, kind of verifying that this was a kit, I went through and was looking at things, and lo and behold, I found this one connection for the outside cover connection to a 303 transistor. Well, that's not soldered. So, and then I ended up finding at least one more wire that went to nowhere. So, kind of comical, but it is what it is. Just have to deal with it. And I'm going to show you one thing about the marking paint I chose. After I've gone through and marked components that were deemed to need some attention, I ended up found that a couple of things. I managed to get a set of test leads with some really nice long pointed tips to them, and that makes life a lot easier for reaching in and around small tight switch decks and stuff like that. If you look around, you can probably find them on eBay or Amazon someplace, or just kind of nice to have. It's one function that I was glad I had them for. And then find yourself a meter that, when you're doing your ohm measurements, if it's auto ranging meter that reacts pretty quickly when you go to make a measurement. This particular Greenlee probably takes less than a second to give or about just on a second to give a good measurement. And throw down a resistor here quick. It's a time saver instead of waiting for a meter to slowly auto range through things. So, just a quick connection, and it auto ranges to a good value right away. So, it's a definite time saver if you're trying to do work like this. You also want a meter that does do diode testing, because I did find one diode on the rotary stack here. I don't know if you can probably see it. I've got some yellow paint in here, but I want to show you my reasoning for using that yellow fluorescent paint, because out of the deal, if you can get yourself a small ultraviolet light source. This one's just a 3-button cell, 357s. It's good enough to do what you need to. As you're going through and replacing things, darken things as much as possible. Lo and behold, if you look and see, well, the camera picks up the light a lot, but it's in person you don't see the ultraviolet as much, but you can see all the little yellow dots on everything that I found and marked. They even marked the end of that one wire there. So if you mark all your faults or areas that need attention, the transistor body there, and as you're going through things, once you eliminate all of them and do a last survey, and if you think you ain't got them all and you see some yellow paint, well, guess what? You missed something. So it's something you can maybe catch on your way out of thinking that you're done doing a recap, or just something like this with the resistors in general that are a problem. It could be a time saver for you, and even visibly, the yellow stands out a little bit without the ultraviolet light. But so that's just a little something I wanted to throw out here in a video. So that's what I'm doing, going through this, and I'm finding I'm going to have to order a cluster of resistors, and then I've got an owner's manual. I've got an owner's manual online that I found, the owner's and operator's manual, but I also did find a manual for a assembly kit that I had to purchase. So that would be this one, and I'm just going to go. I'm going to wait for that one until I go to finalize everything, because I'd like to, between staring and comparing at the unit that I have, the factory unit, and looking at the kit, I can probably find out where all my unattached wire leads go to. So I'm going to wait for all that information so I can properly do that. And then the resistors, I figure I'm best off waiting until I even start playing around with anything until I get the new resistors, because some of them on the printed circuit board are probably controlling the transistor bias, or for the drivers, for the sweep driver for the oscilloscopes, vertical and horizontal. So I want to make sure that I have good values in there. Some of them are well more than 10% of the tolerance. So going to wait for those parts, but in the meantime, this is what I'm up to, and I will get back to working on things, making my order, and hopefully we'll have one of these two units working so I can display it hooked up to an oscilloscope to see how it operates. So again, thank you for viewing this video, and I hope that you return soon. This content is available on YouTube and Odyssey.com. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Hope you return soon.